Hello, I'm Bob Lancer, and the purpose of this show is to lead you into the life you truly want to be living. It is also about helping you to better understand and relate with others, especially the children in your life, in support of their great potential. So this show is for anyone who wants to live with more peace and purpose and positive power to soar into the fulfillment of our greatest promise. On today's show, I want to discuss with you laws of life and how they apply to relationships. The first law we'll talk about has gotten a lot of press, at least some aspects of it, and that's called the law of attraction. But we're going to look at it in ways that perhaps you haven't looked at it before. You attract your reflection. In other words, you attract people to you who are like you. So if you feel dissatisfied with the type of people that you are connecting with in your life, or if you simply want to connect with people who are more positive or powerful, raise yourself. As you raise your level, you attract people of a higher level. If you've been through a relationship breakup, perhaps the person who left you in an unkind way. Instead of condemning and criticizing and complaining about that person, become more kind yourself. One of the values of encountering so-called evil people is that it gives us the opportunity to recognize and release ourselves from our own evil tendencies. If you have someone in your life who expresses a negative attitude, who seems pessimistic, instead of condemning and criticizing and complaining about that person, work on improving your own attitude. Notice how you respond to losses and setbacks, to obstacles, to difficulties. As you raise your level of responses, as you bring more skill and awareness, intelligence, and love into your way of functioning, you will automatically attract people to you who are more loving and intelligent and more aware. The most common mistake we make in relationships is to criticize and complain instead of seeing the other person in our life as a reflection of our current level. Another aspect of the law of attraction is you bring to you the person that you think about. So when you're feeling angry with someone, you're actually thinking about a person making you angry. You're thinking about a person behaving in a way that you dislike. Every thought is creative in nature. Use your thinking to create relationships with people that you admire, that you would love to be with. Pay close attention to your thoughts so you can recognize when you are engaging or indulging in negative thinking about another person. Whenever you feel angry or insecure, your thoughts are negative. Let's say you're feeling jealous or insecure about your spouse. You're thinking of your spouse doing things that cause you to feel betrayed, bad about yourself, undermined, hurt, lost, and left. Well, it's not your mate who's doing that to you. It is your thinking that's doing that to you. Until you improve your thinking, you cannot improve your relationships. Notice how you think about the people in your life. Notice how you think about the relationships in your life. Think less about the kinds of people and relationships that you don't want, and focus more on envisioning the kind of people and the kind of relationships that you do want. You also attract your energy pattern. If you conduct yourself routinely in a chaotic, frenzied, stressful, emotionally reactive way, you're living in a state of chaos. And that state of chaos is attracting to you more chaotic people. When you are experiencing chaotic emotion, you are generating or radiating or emanating into your surroundings a chaotic emotional or chaotic energy pattern. To attract people into your life who are reliable, who function in a calm, healthy, thoughtful, orderly manner. That's how you need to function. Now, there's another interesting aspect of the law of attraction that's not often discussed. And this has to do with your weaknesses. We attract people to us who bring out our weak traits. This is where unhealthy relationships really come from. When you're attracted strongly and deeply to someone who's really not reliable, to someone who's not going to treat you well, to someone you really cannot count on, you have a weak pattern of dependency within you. That person is actually revealing to you a weakness in your own character that you may be unconscious of. And as long as you pursue that attraction, you're feeding that weak pattern in you. If you feel attracted to someone who's weak, dependent, helpless, who is manipulative to try to get his or her needs met because that person does not have the responsible behavior patterns to meet his or her own needs. If you're finding yourself attracting someone like that or feeling strongly attracted to someone like that, that means that you have a similar weak pattern that you need to face, confront, and overcome through self-reliance. The only way to develop your dependability, your ability to rely upon yourself, and your ability to have other people rely upon you successfully is to actually go through life's challenges without rescue, without going to someone to save you, to help you out of your pickle, but rather to deal with it yourself, go through the fear of your own inadequacy until you find a way up and out to connect with your true, deep inner resources to succeed on your own. As you develop your healthy, responsible life patterns, people who are weak and dependent will not be attracted to you. You will actually be repelling them because they will sense that there is no connection with you. They won't feel that sense of rapport that signals to them, this is someone I can use. The next law of life that pertains to relationships that we will deal with here is the law of association. And based on this law, you become like those you spend time with. If you are spending time with someone who is irresponsible and undependable when it comes to financial matters, the more time you spend with that person, the more financial weakness you are going to demonstrate. If you spend a lot of time with someone who has a negative, pessimistic attitude, you're going to find that attitude expressing through you. We radiate who we are, and we absorb what the people around us radiate. Personality patterns, thought patterns, attitudes, habits, gestures, mannerisms, communication styles, all of that is somewhat contagious. To utilize this law, choose your associations based on where you want to go in life, who you want to be. If you want to be a better communicator, spend time with better communicators. If you want to have a great attitude, spend time with people who have a great attitude. If you want to make more money, spend time with people who are making more money. Choose your associations not in a manipulative way that you're using people, but in order to guide your own self-development, to support your self-development goals. Not only do we become like those we spend time with, we also attract what they're attracting. So if you're spending time with a chaotic person, you're not only becoming chaotic, you're attracting chaos. If you're spending time with someone who tends to get very discouraged and demoralized when things don't go his way, not only are you going to be more prone toward depression and discouragement and demoralization, but also you're going to find that the same low level of success that person's achieving, you're going to be achieving. We attract to us circumstances based on what we do. The higher your level of skill and effectiveness, the more successful you are. to move into the destiny that you desire, spend time with people who are demonstrating skills and abilities that's attracting to them some aspect of destiny that you desire. They're going to be attracting opportunities similar to the kinds that they're attracting. Now, there's another aspect to the law of association, and this has to do with the people we spend time with in our mind. When you're thinking about a person, you're spending time with the energy pattern of that person within your consciousness. If you're thinking of someone, let's say, who you find yourself feeling very uncomfortable around, every time you think of that person, you feel that sense of discomfort. You're making yourself feel uncomfortable just as you would feel if you're actually spending time with that person. You're also becoming more like that person, and you're attracting problems similar to that person. So let's say there's a person in your life who you find to be very superficial and cutting and difficult to connect with. And you feel uncomfortable around that person because you can't ever really feel a sense of intimacy, openness, honest and authentic connection with this person. They're just too defensive and insecure. They keep you on the surface. Every time you think of this person, based on the law of attraction, you'll be bringing people like that into your life. In addition to that, you will be becoming more like that person you're thinking of. You will be experiencing more insecurity in your relationships. You'll be more closed. You'll be more standoffish. You might be more artificial. And as a consequence, you'll also be attracting to you the kind of experiences that person is having. You can be sure that a person who has intimacy avoidance issues is very likely going to attract into his life an addict, someone who is also intimacy avoidant, who uses some kind of a substance or some kind of an activity. The substance could be alcohol, the activity could be shopping, to avoid real deep self-awareness and openness because they just don't accept themselves. And so what happens is, by thinking of someone with an intimacy problem, you're not only becoming someone with an intimacy problem, you're attracting people with an intimacy problem. Let's say you're thinking about someone who annoys you because they're unreliable in a professional way. What are they going to attract based on their professional unreliability? They're going to attract no business. They're not going to be getting clients. They're going to be losing money. They're going to be going out of business rather than building their business because they're professionally unreliable. Every time you think of that person who annoys you because of her professional unreliability, you are not only cultivating within yourself similar weak patterns, you're also going to be attracting more business problems and fewer business opportunities. You're going to be attracting a similar business destiny as the person you're thinking about. So the law of association is quite powerful. You become who you spend time with. You attract the destiny of the person you spend time with. And you become like the person you spend time with in your head, the person you're thinking about. You become like that person, and you attract the destiny of that person. When you're feeling angry or resentment in your relationship with another person, you're thinking about what that person did and imagining yourself a victim of that person's actions. You're actually associating with a person who mistreats you by thinking of a person mistreating you. Recognize who you're thinking about, how that person is behaving in your mind, so you can recognize this is not worth thinking about. Thinking about this person is empowering problems in my life instead of solutions. You can also use the law of attraction and association to raise your level by envisioning the kind of people you want to be with. What are their character traits? Do you want to be with someone who's loyal and faithful and kind? Do you want to be with people who are resourceful and self-reliant and successful? Do you want to be with people who are highly motivated, who are fearless, who are open to really rich, deep, intimate relationships? Do you want to be with people who are very accepting of you? Well, don't think of anyone who's not accepting of you. Don't keep running in your mind over and over again people who mistreat you, people who have abandoned you, people who have rejected you. As you master your mind, you direct it toward the thoughts of what you want to bring about in your life, and you direct it away from the thoughts that are bringing about what or whom you don't want in your life. Thinking about your mate in a way that disturbs you, you're feeling trapped in a relationship with someone who disturbs you. But if you really look at what's going on in your mind when you're feeling disturbed, you're thinking of your mate doing things that you don't like, which attracts more of that to you, which turns you more into the kind of person who does the very same thing and keeps you feeling stuck. Not because you really are stuck in a relationship that you don't like. You're stuck in a thought of a relationship that you don't like. And you're only stuck in a thought as long as you're unconscious that it is just a thought. The moment you recognize that a thought is not working for you, you will find that you can let it go. One of the challenges when it comes to mental discipline is how we react when we don't get our way. People who have tried positive thinking think positive, and then they come up against some loss or setback, and they presume that positive thinking doesn't work. When you're facing adversity, when you're not getting your way, when things are not going the way you want them to go, drop negative thinking. Don't let circumstances determine your thinking. Use your thinking to help you determine your circumstances. The next law of life that applies to relationships that we'll cover is the law of discovery. And this law is really described by the famous phrase, seek and you shall find. We can make that even more explicit by saying, what you seek, you will find, or in this case, who you seek, you will find. You have to find that person in your heart first. It's a person that you feel completely comfortable being yourself with. It's a person that you feel love for and loved by. It's a person that you can connect with in communication, a person you can count on, a good, strong, kind, capable human being. As you visualize yourself with such a person, notice how you feel, because you need to be able to work your feelings into a sense of profound connection, getting in touch with the way you want to feel with the person you want to discover, and getting in touch with the way you want to feel about that person attunes you to the person and to the quality of connection that you are looking for, which helps you to recognize at an intuitive level when you're with the one for you. And it even guides you on a subconscious level to make choices that bring the two of you together. This is a far more reliable guide than basing your choices on appearances or logic alone. The person who looks like your ideal and who matches other criteria like having a great job could turn out to feel more like a cellmate than a soulmate. Someone who really feels right for you. Someone who you feel right with, who you feel natural and comfortable and authentic with, will inevitably turn out to demonstrate some of the most important characteristics of your vision of the person you want to find. But follow your sense of feeling most of all, because that attunes you most deeply and most surely to the path that leads you to the relationship that you want. Even if you are married, use the law of discovery to discover yourself with your present mate in marital bliss. Here's how you do that. Let's say you have a conflict with your mate. You'll be tempted to think about your mate from anger, to think about your mate critically, to think about what you don't like about your mate. But that's a habit to let go of, to stop, to drop. If you're feeling dissatisfied in your marriage, just get in touch with the kind of marriage you want to be in. And here's the important part. Don't imagine that your mate cannot be that person. Don't limit the possibilities with your mind. The purpose of your mind is to help you create possibilities that match your desire. Become aware of what you do want to find. No matter how much time you have spent seeking the person that you want to find, and no matter how many times you thought you found that person only to end up disappointed, realize that accomplishing any really important goal in life may require far more persistence than you thought it would or even should take. You cannot feel disappointed, discouraged, or defeated without thinking of yourself in circumstances that trigger those feelings. This is where mental mastery really comes into play. The mental mastery that separates the unhappy and unfulfilled from the happy and fulfilled. Get in touch with how you want to feel about your life, including your love life. Attune to the way you want to feel about your mate and your relationship. Practice living with attention attuned to the state of your complete fulfillment in love, and let that feeling guide your visions of the love life destiny that satisfies your heart's desire. As you free your heart and mind from fear, you will discover that there really was nothing to fear. Every effort you make in this direction leads you further into the true state of total fulfillment and freedom in love that you really are seeking. And that's all the time we have for today's broadcast of Bob Lancer's Answers. To order a recording of today's show or of previous shows, and for more information about my work, check out my website at boblancer.com. That's BOBLANCER.com. And please send anyone you know who can use some enlightenment and upliftment to boblancer.com. Until we meet again, may your life be blessed with peace and love and the light of wise solutions that really work.